Welcome to the Great Indian School podcast. We are now in the hills. We are in Himachal Pradesh, and I have with us Captain AJ Singh, who is the director of Pinegrove Schools. Welcome to the podcast, sir.
Thank you.
So, sir, this is a back to school throwback for you. We'll be exploring your childhood, what shaped you as a person, and what made you come into the field of education. And it's a fun conversation, a very candid conversation. So we'll start with the basics. Tell us more about your childhood. Where did you grow up? Where was your schooling?
When we go back to my childhood, the first thing is that I lost my mom when I was just 2 years old. So my father was in the Indian Air Force, and he had to look after his children and also go to do work. So he had no choice but to send us to a boarding school, because otherwise we were in the hands of maid servants, or he had to get remarried, which he didn't want to get remarried. So he said, let me send my children to boarding. So he was the deputy director of education in those days in the Indian Air Force, and he had come to Lawrence School, Solan for an inspection. And when he saw the school, he felt that it'd be a great school for his boys, and he sent us both there.
So you're an alumni of the Lawrence School, sir?
Yes, I joined there at age 6.
Nice.
And spent my full schooling there.
What kind of a student were you? The studious, the disciplined person, or the notorious kid in the school?
No, I was a very, what to call, a disciplined child.
Nice.
May have been a little naughty, but
the smile tells me otherwise.
No, I always toed the line and rarely got caught doing much wrong. But school went smoothly.
Okay.
It was all right.
Nice. Any favorite subject?
Math.
Nice. You were a maths student. So
No, that was because of my teacher.
Okay.
Great teacher I had. Mr. J.K. Kohli, I must mention his name, Jagdish Kumar Kohli.
Nice.
It was because of him that I started enjoying mathematics.
Yeah. So after you have had a background in defense as well. So what made you come into education afterwards? Was it your father? Was he someone who inspired you to foray into this?
Actually, circumstances just fell into place. I wanted to join the Air Force. I was colorblind. I did not make it as a pilot, though I passed the pilot aptitude test. I passed the merit list also, but couldn't join the Air Force. So I joined the Army, and after joining the Army through the NDA, National Defense Academy, and then the IMA, and my father had already started a day school in Panchkula. He was running that, St. Soldiers Divine. So he fell sick and he asked me to leave the army, and I resigned and came home because the situation demanded it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So if not for education, if you would have, so suppose if you're given a choice now, so say after defense, if not education, what would have you chosen?
This is a very, you see, defense was what I chose. Pilot was what I was wanting to be. I was wanting to be an engineer. I could not, study so much. I didn't like science too much. So I kept moving. I wanted to be an architect. My father didn't want me to be an architect. So there are a lot of things. But yes, a residential school teacher is a very good choice.
Absolutely.
If a person would like to make a good life for himself.
Nice. So what I always believe that, after visiting quite a few schools, what we have seen is that the leadership and their personality, it reflects in the school as well. And while we were looking around at the campus, we saw a lot of art there. Do you have a special connection to art? Were you an artist yourself as well?
Yes, I would attribute that to another of my two teachers, Mr. Prajapati and Mr. C.S. Matharu, and also Mr. Balrao to an extent, who are my art teachers, my sculpture teachers, leatherwork teachers, batik teachers. I was very interested. I got the school prize for art.
Nice.
So art was uh, something I had a passion for.
Nice.
So that is why I try and promote art in the school a lot, and push my kids also to develop their skills in art.
How do you think art impacts you as a person? Does it make you more humane, and how does it impact you?
I think it makes you relatively more organized, more clean, more tidy, more beautiful as a human being also, because you want to see everything very perfect, picture perfect, and things do help you in your whole personality. It does helps you in your how you plan stuff, how you go about your whole life in general.
So
I think
you
art helps a lot.
yeah. So and one thing that art definitely brings is a sensitivity. So do you particularly focus that on that aspect with children? Do you think children are becoming more sensitive nowadays, or should we inculcate it more into our curriculum to produce sensitive children and sensitive human beings out there?
Um, this is a very um, normally by the book, if I would answer it, I would say yes. Children should be taught how to be sensitive and caring, and everything is fine, but also emotional. But to be personally sensitive and emotional uh, may have its downfall.
Okay.
So I feel that we must build human beings who are sensitive but are emotionally very strong.
Okay.
So I hope you get the
A
difference
fair
between
balance.
the
Yes.
two.
Yes. Yes.
You know, children are becoming oversensitive these days, and very, very small things are touching them.
They should be
Which,
vulnerable but not break down very easily.
yes, yes.
Yes.
In our time, we hardly heard the word of depression.
Yes.
And now you find that there are a lot of children needing, maybe it's the need of the hour, they need more of coun- counselors and more of psychological help and psychiatrists to deal with their issues. We need to build emotionally strong, stable kids.
And you have held leadership positions for a major part of your life, and you've also been in leadership positions with BSAI. Do you think that boarding schools in India are inclusive?
Again, a question which needs to be understood is what is inclusivity by what you are meaning as
So,
inclusivity.
inclusivity as an umbrella term, if I am being specific, inclusive with the children's, so children with disabilities, children on different gender spectrum, the LGBTQIA plus community. Do you think boarding schools allow that, or are they more inclusive or open towards that, those concepts?
Yeah. So inclusivity would be two kinds.
Mm-hmm.
One is race, gender, color, creed, religion, etc.
Yes.
And the other would be inclusivity of people with challenges.
Yes.
So if you say from the first point of view,
Mm-hmm.
yes, boarding schools are a little more open. They allow a child to explore a little more, know a little more. They have an environment where kids do have a little more freedom,
Mm-hmm.
are exposed more and taught more, and definitely more than what they would learn at home. But as far as inclusivity, as far as physical and mental challenges are concerned, you have very few children in boarding schools who would be rather largely challenged. There are special children who are not majorly challenged, who will be there in boarding schools, who will be helped to cope up. But most boarding school programs would not be such where kids with with serious challenges would be able to be an inclusive part of the program of boarding schools. I don't think that would be possible.
Okay. And you believe that, ranking schools is like comparing two mothers to each other. And if not through ranking, and if so, not through rankings, what do you think? How can, we can measure success of a school instead?
This is a very, very large and broad based question, which will need detailed answering. But in short, I feel that rankings can never be objective,
Okay.
and they're so subjective because it's impossible to rank a school truly, because the parameters which I feel a school should be actually assessed on, they are intangible. You can't assess it. For example, I'll give you. If a child enters your school, and because people talk of percentages and people talk of academic development, so let's take just one part. A child comes with a capability of a 95%. He enters school and ends up at 85% in his board exams. Another kid who comes with potential of 60, 65, and you work hard and make him, come up to a 90%. So which school has done a better job? It's very tough. That person 90 reaching 95 or a 65 reaching 90, huge difference, but still he's lost the race in marks. No?
Yeah.
But who's done a better job? I think the 60 to 90 has done a better job. So it's not just marks. It's about making you a better human being. How do you calculate that? How do you assess that? How do you evaluate that?
You cannot, yeah.
If a parent at the end of the day says, this school helped my child becoming a better human being, a much better human being,
that's a victory for the school.
it's a huge, huge asset for the school. But would you be evaluating the school on those parameters? No. You'll be evaluating them on what their infrastructure is, or what
the data that we get.
Those measurable, certain measurables are not really good indicators. So hence I would not believe in ranking. I won't believe that one school is better than the other school. All schools are good in their own way. They do a great job.
True. And one more thing, as we go forward, I believe that now we are moving towards a more open world, a more free world, if we can say that. Where do you think boarding schools, like gender-specific boarding schools, will be relevant in the future? Only girls, only boys? Or should we, are we moving towards a world where this will dissolve?
I think as long as the public mindset, to change public mindset takes time. So as long as the public mindset is still there, that they need to protect their girls and they need to keep their girls safe, especially in their formative years, you'll have all girls schools, a lot of them. But the all boys schools are reducing in numbers, is what I feel. I don't know. But you see still all the bigger schools, the so-called well-known schools, Mayo Boys has a Mayo Girls, Welham Boys has a Welham Girls, Birla Boys has a Birla Girls, there is Sindhya Boys and Sindhya Girls. And
they exist.
So they are existing, and they are, and they've been existing for a long time. So if they are existing, they are serving a purpose. And if people are going to them, they are relevant, absolutely. And the relevance is
the world
is for everybody to see.
Yes.
So personally, I believe that co-ed schools are better, but then it's all due to your own experiences. So all your personal experiences will lead you to think in some manner or the other. But there is no school better than the other school.
Yeah.
There'll always be pros and cons.
True.
And that debate can carry on and on and on, and it is endless.
Yes. So one more thing, you have traveled to over more than 40 countries from what I've read. So any particular practice from overseas education that you would that you have instilled in your way of teaching here in Pinegrove?
You see, this has been a long journey, and education. I was not an educationist. I was not a trained educationist. I was a trained soldier. And from soldiering to education, it took a long time to change my mindset. And I do feel that traveling abroad helped me in my exposure towards methodologies of teaching, curriculum development, how children should be handled, psychological handling of children, lots of things. And mainly it helped me in infrastructural development, because whatever you see, you implement. It's a matter which I was exposed to the law school seminar and then the NDA and IMA, and my mind was there while I thought I must go and see the world, learn more, see better places and schools. And I've seen that even when you go and visit a government school, if you go with an attitude of learning, you will definitely come back with something. You will learn something and come. There will be a takeaway. There's no place where there's no takeaway. I don't think so. So I may have visited hundreds of international schools, many schools in India, and I've had little takeaways from all those places and implemented them. But the most important one takeaway which I took from America, was the nurtured heart, the approach of handling children, especially children who are very intense, how to handle them and bring them online. That has helped a lot in training our teachers and becoming better teachers and better understanding of children. That has helped a lot.
Great. And one final question. What one book or film or any show, that any piece of content that you've read or seen that you recommend to people, that's a go-to recommendation, that you must watch it if you're a teacher or a student or anyone related to education?
So one book which I keep as a little Bible with me is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. That is one which I keep going to again and again and again.
Okay.
Because I feel that it's a people's world. And if you don't know how to handle people, you can run no organization.
True.
So all the ideals you may have in the world, they fall when you have to deal with people. And all different kinds of people have different needs, different thinking, different situations, and to understand them and be a people's man. And I think that's what gets you going as a leader. So I feel that helps.
But thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Thank
you so much.